So today we are going to kind of take a little bit of a sidestep in what we've been talking about, and that is really one of the biggest issues that we deal with in HVAC, and that's having to deal with soft skills and dealing with customers. When we are in an HVAC situation, service call, install, you're going to be dealing with customers. And learning how to successfully talk to them, understanding where they're coming from, and so on and so forth is a very important part. It's like half the battle on successfully making your way through a job or a service call, whatever it is that we're dealing with. But for this, we're talking about being really a service technician. And this is really where a lot of us in the field, in some cases, especially the new generation who's just coming into the field and really hasn't had a whole heck of a lot of experience dealing with homeowners and business owners, is how to really act when it comes to dealing with them. So as a service technician, you will have really a lot of face-to-face encounters with customers, probably more than anyone else in pretty much in any other industry. You deal with people every day. The only other thing I could think of would be, restaurants, fast food, stuff like that, where you're just dealing with people constantly. But with HVAC, we're dealing with people that have a problem, and they've called that company to help fix the problem that they are experiencing. So really, we are, as a service technician, we are like the ambassadors of the industry. We really represent what the trade is all about. What we say, how we say it, what you do on the job site, how you act, how you look, is all going to determine that customer's first impression about you and how they and what they gauge you as, your company and your work. It's all important. It really comes down to appearance. How do you present yourself to that customer? How do you look? How did you do your job? Was it neat? Was it dirty? Did you come to the job site unorganized with no tools in your hand? Knocking on the door with your hands in your pocket? Or did you come to the door, knock on the door, and you answered it with confidence? Your customer must, and they treat you, and you have to treat them with respect. Because remember, they called your company, and that customer is now trusting you and that company to take care of a problem and make them feel comfortable. Okay, your company and your industry's reputation basically is in your hands because you are the one that is representing that company. When you put on a company uniform, you are not representing you as a mechanic, as that trained professional. You are representing that company because that company name is on that shirt that you are wearing. That's what customers remember. They don't remember you by your name. They remember you by ABC Mechanical. The gentleman from ABC Mechanical fixed my unit. Or ABC Mechanical did a crappy job. They didn't know anything. So it's all about you and how you represent that business. Why is it so important that we are good at customer service. What's in it for you, really? Well, there's a lot of things that are in it for you when you deliver good customer service. So like when a customer requests a specific technician, that's a good thing. When a homeowner requests you only to come and work and maintenance their stuff, that's a big thing. That's job security in many ways. Oh, don't look at that. No, I want this. I want Kevin from ABC Mechanical to only come and work on my stuff. That's a good thing. Writing letters of recommendation, getting letters, phone calls to your boss on how good of a job you did. That's a thumbs up for us. They're going to tell friends about the good things your company has done for them. Oh, man, you know, I had 3 or 4 different companies that came and looked at my air conditioning, and they all did different things. But, you know, I called that one company. They came out, they took their time. And you know what? The furnace, that air conditioner has been working better than it has in the last 5 years. I would recommend that company. Give them a call. That's what makes good customer service. It's that professional attitude, your professional technical skills, your attitude, your people skills is all so important when it comes to talking and dealing with them. Many interesting studies have been conducted over the years to determine what exactly impacts service on customers' attitudes. Why do they have such a bad attitude towards a mechanic that shows up to their house? What happened in the past that has kind of turned them away? Well, there was one study that was actually done and examined why customers leave one company for another. Well, that one study found that 66% of them said they switched because of simply lack of interest in the customer by the company's service provider. 66% of them. They just didn't feel like their needs were important enough for that particular company. 14% of them left because of unanswered complaints. They call a company, and guess what? They send a mechanic out. Mechanic would do his thing, but you know what? The problem wasn't fixed. Callbacks. That's bad. Callbacks are not a good thing for a company because in many ways, especially from my years of experience in the trade, that is what a lot of people remember. They really don't necessarily always remember the good things, but they are definitely going to remember the bad things. They're going to remember the callbacks of a company where they had to call out the same company 3 different times to fix an air conditioning issue because they had 3 different mechanics that couldn't fix it. But when the 4th company came out, they find out that it's a bad capacitor. That leaves a bad taste in their mouth. Look at that. Nope, that company is no good. Why? Because they have a bunch of incompetent mechanics that don't know what they're doing. One important customer satisfaction study found that most customers do not complain at all. They keep their mouth shut. So what do? They get back at the company that they're no longer happy with. And that one complaint you hear can lead to you having 20 unhappy customers and 6 very angry ones who do not call. 70% of disappointed customers would rather punish the service provider than complain. And how do they punish the service provider? They don't call them again. They go to somebody else. They'll take their business elsewhere, and then they'll tell their friends about it. The average upset customer, get a load of this, the average upset customer will tell 10 friends, and 18% of them will tell more than 20 people about the bad experience that one friend had about a company. This means for every complaint you get from an unhappy customer, that means at least 270 other people will hear about that one bad experience. That's bad. That's where I say they will remember those bad things. And they're going to tell people about those bad things. So as a service mechanic, it is our job to try our best to keep these customers happy and satisfied to the best of our ability. We are not perfect in any way. Nobody is. No company is perfect. No mechanic is perfect. Everybody has their flaws. But we have to be on our game every time we set foot into a homeowner or a business place to fix and address a problem that they called us for. Happy customers, they'll probably tell at least 5 different people about the experience. At least 5. It's a big difference from telling the unhappy stories, right? The key to successful customer relations is to put yourself in your customer's place. Put yourself in their shoes. Treat your customers as you would like to be treated. That is really the #1 golden rule to customer service. How would you like to be treated for this type of problem? Okay? So what does that mean? It means you have to be helpful. It means you have to be friendly, thoughtful, tactful, and polite. Okay, the few moments you spend with a customer is all it takes for them to form an opinion, whether that's going to be good or bad, about your company. Notice, about your company. It's not about you. Because again, that's all they look at. They see that van sitting in their driveway, and that's what they're going to gauge their opinion on your company. Customer service is really a developed relationship. Okay, many of our customers will buy from your company for as long as they live in their homes. But they'll do that only if they get good quality service. Naturally, everybody is going to expect it. Mostly all customers, they're going to expect that, to take the money and run type attitude from a company when they come in. That's natural, right? It's like, okay, well, I know I'm going to pay an arm and a leg for this. They're probably just they're going to do their thing. They're going to run. I can't really guarantee that it's going to work. It's just that natural process, that back of their mind type of mentality. Okay? But they do expect companies to keep their promise. Okay? Customers disappointed is usually based on bad customer relations rather than bad technology. It's just that broken divide between the company and what the company is saying that they're going to do and then what the company actually delivers. Okay? They won't leave a company if the burner breaks or the air conditioner or whatever, but they will leave if you let them down by not fixing the problem or failing to let them know what's actually happening. Oh, so communication. Communication is something that is very, very important as a service mechanic. You got to talk to them. But you have to do it in a truthful way. You can't lie to them. You have to be something of, what did we talk about? Oh, helpful, thoughtful, tactful, polite, friendly, right? That is something of such importance. Many technicians tend to take complaints personally, and they feel a need to defend themselves. It is not about you. When a customer is complaining or giving you feedback about an experience that they may have had in the past with your company, it is not about you. It's about the company. Do not take it to heart. Don't. Listen to them. They're upset about the situation. They're not upset with you necessarily. They're upset with the situation. They're more upset about the company than it is with you. But you're there. They called. So therefore, they still have some trust in the company that you are still going to be able to fix the problem. To a customer, the service call is an interruption. It's an inconvenience to them. That's one thing that's going to make them mad. Upset. Especially if they have to call back over and over and over again for the same problem. It's an interruption to their day. Why is it an interruption to their day? Well, okay, they're going to have to adjust their schedule, right? Because now they got to coordinate with the service department to make sure that you can get out there. They got to be home to let you in the house. So that messes up their day. Some cases they may have to miss work. And when they miss work, they don't get paid. In some cases. Especially if they don't have any vacation time left or they don't have any more sick time left. That is an inconvenience to them. And then when you're there and you can't fix it, now they are paying for a service call that did not get fixed. That's wasted money to them. Why am I paying this bill? You didn't fix it. You have to be a person that is going to be able to do things in a respectful, technical way and be able to fix it. How do you be able to fix it? Is because you've got to know what you're working on. That is so important. If you don't know what the hell you're doing, you are really in for a world of hurt. Because your boss and your company is relying on your technical ability to go out and fix this problem and not have to deal with pissed off customers like this. Keeping a promise, breaking a promise is honestly the fastest way to ever lose a customer. It's a lie. You lied to them. Never make a promise you can't keep. As a technician, your job usually requires keeping promises made to the customer by your company. The most common promise are appointment times for service calls. So in other words, when a dispatcher or a service manager schedules you to go and do a preventative maintenance or a service call, and that service call is set for 7 o'clock in the morning, you need to be on time. You need to be there at 7 o'clock, if not before. Because that is a promise that the company made. But you have to communicate with your dispatcher so he or she can judge the arrival times for your future calls. Once you're done with a service call, maybe call the dispatcher 10 minutes before you're about ready to finish. Say, hey, I'm wrapping up here. I'll call you when I'm done, so that that person can now get onto the phone and talk to the next person in line for a service call so that they can schedule you to be there at a certain time. Promises. Those promises don't just extend to just what time you're going to be at a service call. It's going to be on what you say to the homeowner when you're on the service call. Don't make promises you can't keep. The moment of truth. It's helpful to think of customer relations in terms of moments of truth. Each customer contact is a one-time opportunity to distinguish yourself from the competition. There's hundreds of HVAC companies out there. Hundreds. Thousands. So if a customer calls your company, it is your opportunity to distinguish yourself from the rest. Successful customer relations means making all the moments of truth good ones. Okay? If a service provider gets it wrong, they may be erasing all memories of good treatment that they may have had in the past. If they get it right, they can undo all the mistakes that happened before. It's amazing how the mind works in a person. If you do things right, they're going to forget of stuff. But if you do it wrong, yeah, they're going to remember it. They're going to remember. They're going to forget all of the good things that happened. It's amazing how it works. You can make all of your moments of truth good ones by being patient, understanding, and professional. Okay? This is a problem, especially if you are a person that is not patient. If you are not a good person who can understand where a customer is coming from, and especially if you're not professional. Okay? If there is a problem, you need to acknowledge it and apologize for the inconvenience. That is honestly being a professional. I'm sorry for being late. I was stuck in traffic. You have to be communicative with people and acknowledge that you screwed up. Be sure to address your customer by name. Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith, whatever the hell their name is. Okay? Confirm that you are listening to them when they are telling you something. Oh, okay. Okay, so Mrs. Smith, what you're saying is you noticed that this issue started happening after you touched the thermostat or after you reset the breaker. Okay, that's confirming that you are listening to them and what they are saying is registering in your mind. Okay, and if authorized, give the customer a choice to a resolution to the problem. As a mechanic, you should be able to come up with at least two ways that this can be fixed. Whatever issue that it is that they're dealing with. There's at least probably two ways to do it. Give them an option on what they can do to fix a problem. So what do customers want when things go wrong on a service call? That's honestly a very good question to think about. What do they want? Oh, you screwed up. Okay, now what? What do they want? Okay, customers want their heating or air conditioning systems to function properly. All they want is when they go to turn that thermostat on to either heat or cool, they want air conditioning or they want heat. They don't want to have problems with their stuff. And if there is a problem, they want it to be taken care of as quickly as possible with as little inconvenience as possible. When something does go wrong, they want action. They don't want excuses. They want you to fix the problem and let them get on with their day. They want you to be respectful to them. They want you to be respectful to their property. They want to be respectful for their time. Instead of quietly taking their business elsewhere, which we already know that they will because they're already aggravated with you, the complaining customer is telling you, I care enough to tell you something is wrong. I am willing to stay with you as long as I'm satisfied with your service. They're calling to tell you something. They're telling you, hey, I called you, I want you to fix it. It may sound strange, though, but the first thing to say to a complaining customer is, thank you. Thank you for letting me know about this. Your satisfaction is very important to us, and I will do all I can to set this right. That's a promise. I am going to do all I can. You are not promising that you're going to fix it right then and there, but you are going to do all that you can to fix the problem. That's a very wide sentence. To fix this problem may be in 10 minutes. Once I figure out exactly what's going on, it might be a 10-minute fix. It might be a couple of hours before I fix it. It might expand over maybe a couple of service calls or a couple of times coming back to fix something or to fine-tune stuff over a period of time. But you're still promising that you are going to do all that you can to make it right and make them satisfied. Customers generally do not expect service providers to be perfect. All right, yeah. But they do expect us to care enough to repair the problem with a minimal amount of inconvenience, right? You have to be communicative with people. You have to give people some sort of idea of how long it's going to take for you to do your job. So steps to problem solving during a service call it's quite a long thing. But if you follow a set of steps and certain things to do, you should be able to fix a problem and keep that person satisfied and coming back. And the first thing that you need to do is you have to listen to the complaint. Okay, if the customer is upset, let them vent. Let them vent to you. Be prepared to listen more than actually talk to them. Say things like, I understand why you're upset. Yeah, I think I'd be pretty mad too. Yeah, I'd be angry with that. That's putting you on the same level playing field as them. Never disagree with a customer. Remember, it is not a personal assault on you. They're venting because they are unhappy. Do not react with hostility. Remain calm. You cannot get upset when they are venting to you and they are complaining about a problem or a situation that they had with your company. It's not about you. Calm them. Reassure them. Apologize. Get the facts on what is going on. Say to the customer, I'm very sorry that this happened. Let me see what I can do to straighten this out. Tell me exactly what happened from the very beginning. Listen. Again, back to listening to them. When you say stuff like that, it gets them into a more rational frame of mind. And it actually calms them down. Because now they have realized that you're there to help them. Let me figure this out. Let me see what I can do to straighten this out. Wow, that's powerful. Let me see what I can do. And when they see that sort of stuff, they rationalize that. It's going to put them into a mind where they may actually start helping you problem solve the problem. Enlist their help. There's nothing wrong with having a homeowner equipment. Ask them what you can do to set it right. Ask them what the company must do to satisfy them. Ask. They're going to want you to fix it. That's going to be the answer. Just fix my stuff. But enlist their help, though. Cooling off period. Insert a cooling off period in the middle of the problem-solving process may also be helpful. You can cool off the situation by saying you want to review some manuals in your truck, or discuss this with someone in the company who has solved a similar problem. At this point, you may also decide that the service manager should step in and help solve a problem. Nothing wrong with that either. Sometimes you need that period to be away from the customer. Let me take these. I just want to take a step outside. Let me go sit in the truck for a couple, and let me read these manuals real quick, and then I will get back to you. Investigate the problem. When you are talking to a homeowner, sometimes they are going to tell you what the problem is, and they're not even going to know that they told you what the problem is. Investigate. Go through the system thoroughly. Troubleshoot the system to find the cause of the problem. And when we mean by troubleshooting, it doesn't necessarily always mean that you got to take your meter out as the first thing. How about going and just check the thermostat? Is the thermostat set up correctly? Is the thermostat programmed properly? Are the wires on the subbase tight and wired correctly and on the correct terminals? That's doing investigative work. You're looking at the components. And then obviously once you fix the problem or found the problem, then you're going to offer a solution to them. Explain the cause of the problem and then offer them a solution. Whatever the heck that may be. So here's a nice flow chart, right? You got the complaint. The first thing you got to do is you got to listen to them, right? Listen to everything that they have to say. Let them know you understand their frustration with the problem. Remain calm. Do not react with hostility. Don't take complaints personally. Reassure them. Reassure the customer that your goal is to solve the problem. Once that's done, then you can apologize for them. I am sorry that this is happening to you. Okay? I'll do everything I can to fix this. Get the facts. Tell me exactly what happened. Enlist their help. Ask the customer how you can help, what they would like the company to do to solve the problem. And obviously, if they can agree and you disagree, there's a couple things that you have to do. Okay? If you can't agree on something, if they ask for something that is beyond your authority to grant, it's time for that cool-off period. Don't disagree with the customer. Just ask them to let you see what you can do for them. Find out a good time to call the next business day. Get their number. Reassure them that you want to make them happy and make them, give them the opportunity to help. If you can agree, hey, that's great. You know, now it's within your authority to give the customer what they are asking for. All you got to do is just say yes. Okay? It doesn't have to be the matter of who was right or wrong. Okay? It's what they want. It's simple. It's inexpensive. Just agree and then let them do and get the work done. We have to follow simple rules. Now, what do you do if you have a person that's abusive to you? When is the time to actually leave? Okay, at this point, you are going to have customers that are going to really, they're going to push you to your limit. I know I've had it in my experience as being a service mechanic. You're going to have those moments, man, where customers are just going to honestly just rattle your cage, okay? And when this happens, it's going to cause you to respond poorly, okay? When you are in that sort of frame of mind, you are no help to the customer, to your business, or to yourself. Okay? If you start to become angry, tell the customer that you need to go to your service van. This will give you a chance to calm down, decide whether you can solve the problem or you're going to need some additional help from the office. Explain to the customer, I'm sorry, but if you continue to yell at me, I can't do my job. Please let's both calm down so I can help you. And if that does not work and all other attempts have failed, it's time to leave. If the customer is just being completely irrational, no matter what you say to them, and as much as you try to reassure them that you are going to be there to try to help them and try to fix a problem, it's time to leave. Gather up your tools and leave. What's really important, though, is that you do not say anything to make the situation worse. Now, if a customer lays a hand on you, that is 100% grounds of just packing your stuff and leave. Just pack your stuff and go. You do not say a word. You just pack your stuff and you leave. You get on the phone with your boss and you let the boss know exactly what just occurred, and just let the boss man handle it from there on out. Okay? One of those things is you don't know what type of person you're going to deal with in the HVAC industry or any industry. You're going to have people that are going to be absolutely total jerks. And honestly, there's nothing you can do about it. Never criticize the work of others. Never criticize the work of anyone, regardless of whether they work for your company or not. If a customer says something like, gee, wow, you're taking an awful long time. The last guy that was here didn't do all this work or didn't go through all this trouble to find a problem. That's fine. Let them say that. But you can explain to them that everybody has their own approach to troubleshooting and fixing a problem. And this is how you do it. Nothing wrong with that. If one of your fellow technicians makes a mistake on a service call that you had to go and do a call back on, take that matter up with him privately so that he doesn't make the same mistake again. Just pull them aside the next time you see him. Say, hey, look, I went back to Mrs. Smith's house. This is what I found. Next time when you go do this, make sure that you don't do whatever it is that you just did wrong. Okay? I know when I did one, when I first got out into the field and I first got my license, I did something similar to that where I actually installed a multi-tap transformer into a rooftop, and I didn't wire nut the remaining wires on the primary side individually. I kind of just let them dangle and left. You know, hey, rookie mistake, right? You didn't know. And another mechanic had to go back out like a day or two later, because that transformer blew because the wires were arcing up against the metal frame in the unit. Well, that mechanic, he took that transformer out. He brought it back to the office the next time he saw me, and he told me, hey, look, the next time you put one of these in, you got to make sure that the wire nuts are on the remaining windings on the primary side of these guys. You can't leave them dangling like that. Hey, you know what? It was a lesson learned for me. Till this day, you know what? Anytime I put a multi-tap transformer into something, I can always make sure that those wire nuts are there. That's the way you have to go about doing things. Do not criticize your customer's heating equipment. That is one of the dumbest things you can ever do. Why? Because your company could have been the one that sold it and installed it. Now, wouldn't you look like a big old jerk if you're criticizing someone's heating unit that was just installed by your company? Don't do it. If the equipment is obsolete and getting old, make recommendations to upgrade it. Put new stuff in, right? The customer may be pleased to hear that they can save money and avoid service calls, especially with some newer equipment. Image is everything. Surveys indicate that many people think HVAC is dirty. This is why your appearance is so important. You must focus on clean trucks, neat uniforms, clean boots, clean toolboxes, tools, and leaving the customer's home and HVAC systems cleaner than you found them. We have to do that. The customer will judge the quality of your work you have done by the appearance of their heating, cooling equipment after you have left. If you don't think that homeowners go down and look at their HVAC equipment after you left to see what you did, you are badly mistaken. They will go down there and they will investigate the work that you did. And they will compare what you wrote on that service ticket to what they see on that unit. They will do it. But what about your image? What do they look at when they see you? What's their impression of you? What about your image? What about your truck? Is it clean? Okay? Remember, the truck is a rolling advertisement for your company. It's a big billboard on wheels. What does the inside of your truck look like? Customers might look inside the doors when you're there. If you have your back door open and they see a whole bunch of garbage sitting on the back of it, nothing's neat, that's an impression. Well, if he doesn't keep his van neat, what do you think he's going to do with his work? He's probably a slob. Keep your work vans neat and organized. What about your tools, your tool bags, toolboxes? Customers believe if your tools are in good shape, you are probably a good technician who will show the same respect to their equipment. What about your appearance? Check your appearance before each call and have enough pride in yourself to appear in a presentable as possible. It is a good idea to keep an extra uniform shirt in your truck in case one of them gets really dirty. You may want to put a couple pairs of overalls to protect your uniform, especially on dirty jobs like maybe cleaning out a boiler or doing a maintenance. Try to avoid using your customers' facilities to wash up. Don't use their sinks, especially after you've done a boiler job, tune-up or something like that. Have some hand cleaner in your truck. Consider using protective gloves to help keep your hands clean. Simple crap like that, man. Don't smoke. Don't use tobacco when you're on a customer's property. Okay? When you are doing anything when it comes to service calls, some tips for success: always be on time. Being late without notification is the quickest way to get off on the wrong foot with a customer. Always be prepared. Ask the dispatcher if your company has been to the residence recently. Gather appropriate information. Be careful where you park. Don't block the customer's car. Drive on the lawn or walk through a flower bed. Set yourself up with a well-organized toolbox. This is going to reduce the number of trips you have to make to your truck. Keep your track of all of your calls with a service card hanging near the system. Write the date. Put your initials and a brief explanation of what you did, the parts are used, and the efficiency readings if you're working on a gas-fired furnace or a boiler. This card can be a great deal of help when it comes to troubleshooting. Most important service call is preventative maintenance and tune-ups. It gives you a chance to look for potential problems and fix them before they occur. This is also a great time to talk to your customer about the possibilities of investigating in new equipment. Some customers like to watch you do your thing and watch you work. It helps to explain what you are doing and make recommendations. Getting the customer involved may sound like a lot of trouble, but they deserve to know what's happening. You may be able to show them how they can avoid problems in the future. Involving the customer improves customer relations and helps avoid complaints. If an expensive part is broken or not covered under a service plan or whatever, get the customer's approval before replacing it. Always look beyond the symptom of the cause of the problem. For example, a bound fuel unit is often a symptom of water in an oil tank. And water in the tank may be a symptom of a rotted fill or vent pipe. So be sure to find and fix the cause, not just the symptom. Up to date. Ask questions to customers honestly and thoughtfully. Concentrate on solving the problem at hand. Do not boast on problems that you've solved in the past, because to be quite honest, customers do not give a crap about your last service call. They only care about the service call that you are on. And when you are finished, leave the area around the heating and cooling system as clean as you possibly can, if not better. Tell the customer what you did, show them the parts you replaced, and thank them for the opportunity for that service.